Emily, I want to ask you really quickly, like, now that this is your second film, do you really feel like you've hit a stride?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think I was definitely slightly intimidated in the first one, in The Winter Soldier, and just kind of getting used to it. I think that lent itself well for the character. She was sort of more in like a rookie stage, and it's great to see her come back in a little bit more of like a mature light. She's confident
And she's still good with guns, girl.
Still good with guns. But yeah, she's a great character to play. I'm having so much fun with her, and she gets to kick a little butt in this one, and it's great fun.
I really want to know, I've never heard anybody speak to this, so excuse me if you've already spoken to it. Do you ever have an idea as to where your characters are going in the future? The Marvel Universe is so interconnected, and certainly there's a vision past what we're seeing on the screen at the time. Do you ever get clues as to play it this way, knowing that you're going to go here eventually at some point? Does that ever happen? Or is it a secret from even you guys? Don't frown at me, Kevin Feige. I didn't ask him to tell me what he said.
In all seriousness, I would say it varies. I would say the characters don't know what's supposed to be happening to them, so I don't know how helpful it would be. And sometimes there's a long play that I think Paul knew for quite a while. Vision was coming down the pipeline and had to keep it a secret for quite a while. Robert's very good at keeping secrets, so we can tell him anything at all times.
Locked vault, that one.
So it really does vary. There's some big picture things. I remember pitching sort of the big twist of Winter Soldier to Chris Evans when we were shooting the final scenes in New York on the first Avengers film. So there are long things like that, and then they're shorter. Can you come over right now? Moments.
So this question's for Mr. Russo. What about the world today demands a popularity resurgence on superheroes?
Demands a popularity resurgence? Look, you can answer that question, I think, in a lot of different ways, but, we live in a very complicated world, and it seems like it gets more and more complicated every day, and I think there's lots of signs of that we're all experiencing and going through and struggling with. There's something very reassuring about having a fantasy film that can deal with a lot of these issues, but in a way that's one step removed. It's hard to deal with reality sometimes when it's in your face. You need a little buffer from it. You need to place it within a context where your imagination can roam and your emotions can flow in a way that's maybe not as complicated or threatening as in your real life. So I do think, especially with these Captain America movies, because I think there's a political dimension that's like inherent with the character because of his origin, his name, etc. I don't know. I think maybe it provides us a space to play in and explore that's a little safer in some ways than reality.
It's an incredibly smart answer.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you, sir. That's an incredible compliment coming from this.
No, I
genius.
just sound, is being British, I just sound smart. I left school at 16, I have no idea what you're talking about. I just said, you presented it in a smart way.
It just sounded smart.
Yeah, it sounded smart.
Yeah, it sounds smart.
That's my Cleveland accent.
I called Robert relatively early saying, I think there's a chance we might get Spider-Man in this movie. And his reaction was actually one just like a fanboy, which was unbelievably excited for what that could mean for this movie. And then I would, a few weeks after that said, hey, we've sort of culled it down to about 5 finalists. Could we bring them to Atlanta, and would you mind reading with all 5 of them? And he did, and then we culled it down a little bit more, and he did, and that was how Tom came to the top. Then Tom and one other person came back and read did more of a stunt test, in which Chris Evans was gracious enough to read opposite him. But it was fun seeing that Robert was invested, and to see Tom react to Robert, which is not dissimilar from the way Peter was reacting to Tony, was actually quite cool.
I will add this. I mean, obviously the character has a very special relationship with Robert's character in the movie, and most of his work, the vast majority of his work, is with Robert. I mean, it's just like Kevin said, Robert was incredibly generous in terms of going through the process.
Why didn't you know all these reviews were going to come?
I mean, helping us all figure out who the right person was for the role. But not only that, once Tom got cast, to all of our delight, then working with Tom, a young performer, and sort of bringing him into this very complicated fold with all these very sophisticated performers and pedigreed performers. And I mean, I remember when he did the big bedroom scene with Tom, and I remember Joe and I sitting at the monitors and just reflecting on the idea that, wow, like the greatest gift that you can give an actor is to be in a scene with Robert Downey Jr. I mean, that it's
In a
like,
bedroom scene.
It's like,